Coming up on Tech News Today, Google gets all masochistic and punishes itself. Rime CEOs may lose their jobs, but which ones? And Netflix original TV coming in February. All that and more coming up.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Tuesday, January 3rd, 2012. Tech News Today is brought to you by Gazelle, the easy way to sell or recycle most any used electronic gadget from your home or office. Don't just sell it, Gazelle it. Gazelle your used gadgets today at Gazelle.com. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Sarah Lane.
I'm Iyaz Akhtar.
I'm Jason Howell.
And this is the show we kick around the Tech News today, try to make some sense of it all. Joining us for our top story today, Mr. Danny Sullivan, editor-in-chief over at Search Engine Land. How's it going, Danny? Busy day for you.
It's been a busy day. Yesterday was the same.
Yeah, it's been a busy couple.
I was planning to take it off. It was the second. It was supposed to be a holiday.
Well, especially because yesterday everybody else had the day off, so you couldn't get any comments from anybody on this story. Let's let folks know what we're talking about. Sponsored blog posts and video placements for Chrome were discovered by not only Search Engine Land, but also SEO Book. Over 400 pages containing the phrase, "This post sponsored by Google." Now, Danny, tell us a little bit about why that's an issue, why this is causing headlines, and what happened next.
Sure. Well, as you said, Aaron Wall over at SEO Book had spotted this sort of thing, and I did a follow-up look, and it was, as my headline said, kind of jaw-dropping. You found maybe upward to 300 posts, mostly coming off of mommy bloggers who are on one particular mommy blogger network, it seems, saying kind of like gibberish, you know, I do things on the web, I do all sorts of stuff, blah, 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 blah. And check out this post about a small Vermont small business that's doing well with Chrome. And then there was a link to the video that many of you may have seen on the on television that shows how Chrome, you know, helped this Vermont bakery do well. Although it really didn't help the Vermont bakery do well. The Vermont bakery was already online long before Chrome even existed.
Well, yeah, the video, the commercial itself doesn't really make clear how Chrome helped them, but that's a separate issue.
Yeah, that's sort of a whole other issue. And so the campaign raised two key questions. First of all, Google does not like sponsored posts if the posts contain links, because they consider them to be paid links, and they feel like if you're doing that, you should have you know, this what's called the no follow attribute around the link as a way so that it doesn't cast a vote and it doesn't give anybody credit. And one of these posts did have a direct link over to Chrome, and so technically it was a paid link, and a paid link that would violate Google's guidelines. And so technically made it possible that Google might have to ban itself. The other issue, which I thought was a much bigger issue, was simply that, you know, over the past year, Google has spent a lot of time trying to get rid of what they call thin content. They had this Panda update. They said, we don't want people getting to this content and it ranking well if the content isn't very substantial. And these posts were not substantial. You would go to some of them that would talk about being a review of Chrome, and they were anything but a review of Chrome.
Some of them reminded me of the kind of spammy posts you'll get in blogs that make it past a kismet in WordPress.
They don't actually make much sense.
Because they're actual sentences, but they don't relate to anything at all.
I really enjoyed your post today on something.
Yeah,
blog.
right.
Yeah, and that's it exactly. And so they weren't necessarily spam. They just weren't really good content. And so it's odd to have a campaign that's being funded by a search engine to generate the same kind of content that the search engine then tries to fight to keep out of its own search results.
But then Google came back and said, we didn't authorize this. We don't believe in this. How did these posts happen?
We never had video relations with these posts. So it seems that Google talked with a agency. I think the agency was called Essence or Essence Digital, and that agency somehow was involved with saying, we're going to run an online ad campaign. And so Google's story is, we just thought we were having an online ad campaign. And then Essence Digital was saying we were supposed to do a video ad campaign, and they in turn worked with another company called Unruly. And Unruly's method seemed to be to work with people at this one particular mommy blogger community and say, it seems like, hey, look at this video. If you like the video, put a post up, and we'll give you probably a $40 Amazon gift card for doing it. And you can write whatever you want. We don't care. And so, Google's point of view is, wow, we never intended to have sponsored posts going out there like this. And both the agencies involved have said, oh, yeah, no, it's our fault. Which, is probably true. Google probably did not expect for this sort of thing to happen. The issue, though, is that when other companies stumble across these kind of things, they might still get punished. When JCPenney got involved last year with buying links, their response was, well, we didn't know that links were going to get bought, and it's, we didn't plan for that. Our terms were supposed to prevent that sort of thing, so don't blame us. Blame that SEO company we worked with or whatever. They still got penalized over it. And so that's why, Google potentially could get penalized, and in fact has penalized itself over this.
So they have. They've taken action against themselves, which is a little odd. They're reducing the page rank for the Chrome page. Is that right?
That's right. And in fact, Google has a long history of taking action of itself because, the spam team kind of wants to prove that they don't hold themselves above their own rules. And so they've penalized themselves for doing things like cloaking, which is when you show one page to the search engine, then to user. When Google Japan was found to be doing sponsored posts, they did the same sort of thing to Google Japan. They reduced the page rank value. So right now, Google's Chrome page has a page rank value of 9 out of a 10 maximum. And that means it's a very well-respected page. Very few pages have a page rank that's that high. And it means that potentially it will rank better than other pages. That's only one of many factors that are taken into account, however. By reducing the page rank value, the page potentially may not rank well for certain terms. And the real thing to watch is, will it continue to rank for, say, a word like browser? Because right now it's number 2 in Google when you do a search for browser.
It's already not number 1 in their own page rank. That's interesting.
But that that kind of makes sense because looking at all the links and everything, Firefox just may have a better reputation, and that more people are effectively
more history,
history and so on. It's interesting. Internet Explorer is down on 7, I think it was 7 or 8.
Yeah, Safari's even above it.
Yeah. So Chrome is at number 2, and when this page rank value goes into effect, potentially it could drop. And that's really where, if it drops, Google has actually applied a penalty. Because just reducing the value, it's kind of like saying, I don't know, wow, you used to be going 60 miles an hour, now you're going 55. So what,
Right.
But, it's a whole other thing that if your ranking change happens, it's like, wow, now you're going like, 15 miles per hour or something.
And we don't know what they're how much they're changing the page rank. They haven't either decided or said.
Yet. And it may be hard for us to tell because the page rank values that you can see when you use something like the Google toolbar in the one browser that still supports it, Internet Explorer, there's a delay between when they actually change the page rank value internally in their own system and when they push out an update to let the whole world know that it's happened.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think this is kind of a fascinating tail, snake eating its own tail sort of situation here. The upshot being that this whole way that people place ads, and that's another separate question, is why Google was going to an outside ad company, but this whole way that ads are placed is such a long chain. It's, you place an order with one broker who then places another with another, and it goes, it's surprising that this doesn't happen a lot more often.
Well, a number of people have said, hey, I don't even see what the big deal about this is because this does happen all the time, and I see this junk all over the place, and I see people writing stuff, these paid posts, and so on. And true enough. The difference is that in this case, it's Google itself that has pushed out against these sorts of things that gets involved with it, and I think that's the big takeaway here. If Google can get confused enough about how to do a campaign, however it happens, that violates its own rules, it becomes very difficult for them to then say to third parties, oh, you didn't follow our rules as well. I mean, you Google didn't even get your rules right.
Do you think that this is an appropriate punishment for an entity doing what Google got caught doing? Are they punishing themselves fairly?
I think that if they have a ranking drop for some generic terms, that's probably fair. That's probably beyond what they really needed to do. I think that if you're searching for Google Chrome and you can't find Google Chrome on Google,
it might not be the browser for you.
Yeah, but you're not doing the job Google should do as a search engine. Right. And that's the same fact like when JCPenney got penalized. Okay, So maybe JCPenney doesn't get to rank well for comforters anymore. But if I search for JCPenney, I, as the searcher, don't really care what your problem or your beef is with them. I clearly wanted to find them, and so you should be showing them to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Danny, thank you so much for taking the time and explaining all this to us and helping us understand it. Really do appreciate it. Let folks know, before we let you go, about Search Engine Land, what's going on over there, obviously covering this story right now.
It's been this. You know, the site covers things that have to do with search engines and search marketing issues, and we actually just brought up another site called Marketing Land, which covers online marketing more generally. And aside from this, it's been pretty quiet.
All right. Thanks again, Danny. Hopefully things will slow down for you a little more at the beginning of this year.
Yep.
Not in traffic, though. We hope the traffic goes up.
No, traffic will be great. We got CES next week. So
That's right. That's right.
Busy.
Danny Sullivan, Editor-in-Chief, Search Engine Land. Great to have you along with us. Next story, Rime replacing Jim Balsillie and Mike Lazaridis as chairman of the board, maybe. This is a report from Canada's Financial Post. Rime has apparently, since about mid-2011, had an independent committee reviewing its leadership structure. One of the points of contention being that the co-CEOs are not only CEOs, but also co-chairman of the board of directors.
Yeah, I was looking at what the difference is with co-CEO versus a chairman thing. And the thing is, the chairman, if you actually replace the chairman, they're out there for the investors, right? So if the investors are saying, hey, look, we need to change the CEOs, the chairman can do this. So this could lead to a long set of changes, because the idea that the chairman position is taken away and these two fellows are still there.
These two fellows.
They're still there. They might not be there very long, considering what's been going on. I mean, these two have been completely... all year, just been like, people have been doing face palms all the time. Like, what are you doing? And if they make this change...
Face rims.
something like that.
Take that back.
Yeah. If they do this change, we're talking about replacing the two chairmen with one person, which would have like an actual one head of the board of directors, and maybe they'd be able to explain to everyone, hey, maybe we need to do a bigger shift than just the chairman position. We maybe need to change the co-CEOs to either just a CEO or move these two somewhere else.
Well, it's kind of ridiculous that a chairman position is split into two, and it just happens to be the two men who are the co-CEOs of the company. People say, why isn't anything happening? That's why.
Chairman and CEO, fairly common. Co-chairman, fairly common. Co-CEO is not so common. Co-CEOs and co-chairman, never heard of it outside of Rime.
Nothing will ever change, because the co-chairman will say, well, we don't want to do anything with the co-CEOs. We like those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we are those guys.
Canada's Financial Post reports that Barbara Stymiest, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, S-T-Y-M-I-E-S-T, a former executive at TSX and the Royal Bank of Canada, who currently is on Rime's review committee, might be tapped to become the new chairman. That struck me. I'm sure there's a good reason why this happens, but if you're on the review committee and you go, you know what, I think I should be the chairman. That seems like a conflict somehow. But in any case,
we don't know how many people are on this independent review committee, but if they're all in favor of Ms. Stymiest, then it's probably not just her wanting to appoint herself.
Committee has a deadline of January 31st to make their decision, and then Rime's board will have 30 days to respond to that. So we may not find out anything about this until the end of February, but we'll keep it on the calendar for January 31st, see if anything leaks out.
I think when this news hit, the actual shares for Rime, their prices went up. I was reading reports on that. I'm like, well, yeah, it seems like every time there's a rumor that these guys are losing their jobs, the stock does better.
What does that
Or at least losing their power.
Right.
They have such large power now. To have someone else that's overseeing the board, well, it makes sense to me anyway.
So we mentioned in News Fuse yesterday rumors that Apple would have a New York City event that would not be device-related. Lots more rumors, not more news, but more rumors coming out today. TechCrunch reporting that the event will be about publishing and e-books, and specifically improvements to the iBook platform. Ars Technica says that the announcement likely would involve support for the EPUB 3 standard, which enables a wider variety of multimedia and interaction features. And Clayton Morris believes that the event will focus on iTunes U and education. He said this is the event he was talking about when he was on Ken Ray's show back in early December. Good e-Reader, a blog, said this morning that sources close to the matter tell that Apple's launching a new digital self-publishing platform to get people's content into the iBook store. So you take all those rumors and you squish them together. Paid Content says this is what we think is going to happen. Something along the lines of a self-publishing platform for digital, multimedia-heavy textbooks. And that's something that, if you're following textbooks at all, textbook publishers would really like to have.
Absolutely. What about, so I'm thinking this makes perfect sense for textbooks. The educational sector, a huge need. What about just an independent publisher? Tom, you have a book.
Right.
It's available through iBooks.
Yep.
Would you be able to, perhaps, with new, I don't know, abilities, be able to add in video to your next book, or
potentially? I mean, that's like right now you can publish yourself into iBooks using iTunes Connect, but it's a little bit thorny. It's not terribly user friendly, and it's not meant for your average person who's not interested in learning a bunch of technical stuff to do. It's not like publishing on Kindle Direct, where you upload a document essentially, and they say, okay, this is what it's going to look like, approve that and publish. So it could be something more like that. It could also be continuing to be more like iTunes Connect and say, this is a platform for aggregators. For instance, when I publish my book on iBooks, I give it to Lulu.com, and they publish it to iBooks. I don't touch it because I'm lazy, and that's just easier for me to do.
Yeah, I guess that doesn't really sound so much like Apple, or else they would let all sorts of independent musicians be uploading music.
Which you can, again, through iTunes Connect.
But they certainly don't. They don't push that.
Well, considering how many professors actually publish their own texts for their classes, this would make a lot of sense if you have a professor who's going to use the Apple model or the iPad as the distribution model, because you can have a lot more animations and diagrams and things. Like when I saw the Kindle the first time in these e-readers, I'm like, this is a great idea for textbooks. They're heavy, the volumes are huge. You might forget a book, but you can't see the same kinds of things, especially in science textbooks. The iPad is pretty much like the old CD-ROMs, the way the textbooks can be done, but there's this hurdle to get a professor to write a book that goes through a publisher, that goes over to the iBook store. This seems like it could maybe give you a lot more options to which textbook you have as well, because you have professors from all over the world, hopefully, or the United States anyway, putting their books on iBooks, or the iBook store, and you have an option. You don't necessarily need to keep sticking to this one particular book, because if one is the actual best book, it'll rise to the top, especially if there's a lot of competition for in the education market.
I have a feeling that what this is going to be is an ebook publishing platform for the publishers to use to make it easy to take textbooks and have them submitted by educators without having to go through the normal publishing process, and get them published easily onto the iPad and the iBook platform. But I think it's going to be middle managed. That's why they're having this announcement in New York City, because they want the publishers to be on board. That makes sense to me.
I mean, I'm still dreaming of the days where the editions are updated instead of having to pay like $110. I remember the days of buying books, and you would be like, oh, you have the 5th edition. That might not have the latest information. You need the 6th edition, which will cost you another 60 extra bucks, or you get the little supplement. I mean, this would all be gone with an iBook model, where you can go.
They'll just be updated all the time.
Update book. I'll pay a subscription fee for this textbook. Let me just have it that way.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break and thank our sponsor, Gazelle.com. Gazelle is are the folks that allow you to sell your gadgets online. Most of us want the latest gadgets. There's going to be a bunch of new stuff announced at CES, and you probably are feeling the pocketbook pinch after buying all those gifts over the holidays. So you want a little extra cash, go check out Gazelle. Take your old electronics, your smartphones, your MP3 players, your ebooks, your readers, your laptops, all that stuff. 20 product categories, over 200,000 unique items, and get cash. That's what I'm doing, actually. I got this old MacBook Pro from 2009. I've had it for a couple of years now. I replaced it last February. And I thought, oh, I'll just use it as a backup computer. I did use it for a little while. Now I realized I haven't touched it in 6 months. I'm going to sell it on Gazelle. So I went to Gazelle, looked it up. I'm going to get $450 for this thing.
Wow, Tom, where are you taking us?
Great dinner coming up.
I'm taking you to my Visa bill.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry.
Great restaurant.
I'm busy that night.
Not terribly impressive. But you know what? The other thing is they emailed me, and I don't think they know who I am because I'm not using my TWiT email address or anything. They gave me an upgrade. So instead of just printing out the shipping label and pasting it on the boxes, which is the normal process, it's pretty easy. You print out the shipping label, you put it on the box, you send it into them. They actually upgraded me to valet service. I didn't even know they had this, which means I don't even have to pack it. I don't have to print the shipping label. I go into FedEx, I give them the number, and the device, and FedEx packs it. I say this is a Gazelle return.
I love this because Gazelle will also send you packing material, but if you're going to go to FedEx anyway, the valet service just makes it that much easier.
I don't need to wait for them to send me a box. This is great.
Wonderful.
So anyway, check it out. Find out if you can get some money from Gazelle for your old gadgets. Even if you can't, they'll recycle gadgets that are really old. They recycle responsibly, so it's a very good way to dispose of electronics. But you probably can get some cash. Check it out. You can also get Amazon gift cards. You can get it by check. You can get it by PayPal. You can get Walmart gift cards. Check it out at Gazelle.com. Don't just sell it. Gazelle it. We thank them for their support of Tech News Today. Onward into the discussion zone. HP has leaked out. When you send blogs and emails saying, hey, we're leaking you this video, it's not really a leak, is it?
No,
it's pre-releasing it.
That's a press release.
Yes.
Okay. They've press released the following teaser video for something called the HP Spectre. There is a Spectre haunting CES. And everybody's taking a look at this. Of course, it's very pretty. It's got very dramatic music.
Things are unfolding.
But yeah, it looks
audio
like
listeners
two glass panes.
and eyes.
Well, many glass panes, but yes, I see what you're saying.
They're folding like a laptop.
Oh.
Okay, so there's the real laptop.
It glows like the Pulp Fiction briefcase.
That didn't tell you anything.
No.
No, not a thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a tablet then. I mean, unless it's got a big cover.
Yeah, and
It should be a
Gadget
laptop.
Gadget
Right.
speculates this might be the HP Envy Spectre, which has been
Sounds pretty
which actually
reasonable.
has been rumored,
And it was filed with the FCC.
yeah, exactly. So it's called the Spectre. I hope that it's a dual LCD screen.
Why
When
do
you're
you,
showing me all those double glass.
why do you hope that?
'Cause-
Since the other dual LCD screens that we've seen were like had the worst battery life ever. And
Well, I
didn't-
want it to have good battery life too.
Okay.
That's a good point.
That is a very
I want it to be an awesome dual LCD screen. No, I like the idea of the dual LCD screen. Of course, I also want a physical keyboard, so I'm not sure how much in practice I would really like it, but I want to see it. I want to see somebody do this right.
You want to see, one
Yeah.
of these concepts that actually works.
So this is looking like it's going to be an ultrabook, really.
It's
though.
probably just going to be
because CES
a really thin ultrabook.
we're expecting. Well, I think is that even possible? Is there a fat ultrabook? Actually, yeah. HP makes the fat ultrabook, the Folio 13. That's
Right.
kind of a chunky, clunky looking
Always
thing.
amuses me that HP
calling
owns
that
Palm makes a
ultrabook
folio.
fat.
I am calling
calling
that
it fat?
particular one. Yeah, it's a sad thing, but I'm thinking, okay, we'll have the super thin HP Spectre Envy or Envy Spectre, and it'll be just lost in the masses. I mean, there's supposed to be over 50 of them launching, and I do believe already there's been an announcement about a multi-touch dual display laptop. I've seen that. I think it was the other day. It's got a small multi-touch surface for where the keyboard would be, and you can use that. Again, battery life and actual execution, because I mean, if you don't have the right hardware, it's going to stink as a user experience.
I'm looking at the screen cap on Engadget, and I can see ports on the left side, so it's not that thin. And I swear, this right here looks like part of a key. See, right there. Enhance.
Wait,
I'm dialing it in, sir.
Isn't that just the bevel so you can open it?
Yeah, that might just be the open
It might just be a
area.
clicker.
It could be, yeah.
There's definitely ports
Or
over here on this
maybe-
left side.
maybe
Yeah,
it's-
there are ports.
I thought the same thing at the end of the video where you're seeing all these. It's as thin as you've ever seen. Then you see sort of the laptop opening, and I think, I don't know.
That
It
doesn't
looks
look
like regular
the,
laptop.
Yeah, exactly.
Kinda.
All right. Let's move on to a study from analytics firm Flurry, pointing out that 1.2 billion apps were downloaded in the last week of December, from Sunday, December 25th, through Saturday, December 31st. That's a 60% jump over the previous week, and it's the most apps ever downloaded in any given week since they started tracking this stuff. The United States was responsible for about 46%, at 509 million, followed by China, number 2 app downloading country, 99 million, and the UK in third at 81 million. On Christmas Day, there was a record 242 million apps downloaded, 6.8 million devices activated for both iOS and Android. So that's why they're selling all these apps, having all these apps downloaded.
How long before China leaps right over U.S.?
I
U.S.
don't know,
is at 509
to
million
99.
to
We got
99.
a pretty big lead.
We do,
They have more
but
people, but
exactly.
There's a lot of kids in the U.S. who were like praying for an iPhone for Christmas. I mean, in Reddit, there was all these people complaining who didn't get an iPhone. It's like, this is not really a
what'd they
problem.
get? Galaxy S2?
I think they got like socks, but they were excited about the socks. Very unusual. There's no apps for socks as far as I know.
Systems on a
When you
chip.
add in all of the Android phones available, I don't know. I'll be interested to see how these numbers change this time next year.
Rovio had a great record on Christmas Day, 6.5 million downloads for the Angry Birds franchise. There's 3 different Angry Birds games, so they're combining all of that. But all of this puts into perspective Trisha Durye's story over at All Things D. Facebook games tanked over the holidays. People were not playing games on Facebook.
Well,
they were
they were
downloading
playing
apps.
Some games they were playing, but
overall
there was a
Electronic
decline.
Arts saw 1.2 million fewer monthly users over the past week for its top title, The Sims Social. Zynga's Empires and Allies game lost 1 million monthly users, and its newest game, Castleville, lost 900,000. This is according to app data. However, you're right, Sarah. Words with Friends and Farmville each gained 1.3 million and 800,000 respectively. So the older, more loved games did
I have
well.
a theory about this. I feel like something like Words with Friends or Farmville, yes, has the loyalists. They're going to be playing Scrabble or Words with Friends. They're going to be playing Farmville.
Farm bill.
They're going to be playing their Farmville.
They don't know
too.
the names of any of these games, but they're going to be playing them.
I call it Scrabble because they those are games that have really diehard fans. A lot of these other games, I would think that people are playing at work. And if you're not working over the last 2 weeks of December, then you're going to see a big drop in people playing Facebook games.
Right, because it's much more noticeable for you to pull out your phone and start playing an app or messing around with an app than it is to just be,
have a little
head
tab
down.
open, back and forth.
I'm typing away.
I mean, I don't even
just
work.
looks like I'm working.
You don't know anything.
No, none of us do.
So they just let their crops go to.
No, I mean,
Go to
Farmville did
hell
well.
over-
So I'm telling you, that people were together, and they're
Let
like,
their
you
castles
need to
go.
take care of my farm. I mean, they're getting in your face, and it's
Around
like
the dinner
actual
table.
real social networking where you're like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Let's play Words with Friends. I mean, that's the weird thing. Like, you don't want to go and do these other silly games. I mean, these games are supposed to be taking care of, like, what, your social life, right? You're talking to your friends on these games, but if you're actually in a room with them, you might talk to them like face to face. I know it's an odd thing.
And nuts.
I know, but also then
Nobody's
again,
going to do that.
over the Christmas break, I mean, what television networks put on like their worst shows, reruns anyway. They're expecting that nobody's going to be doing anything other than traveling together and having arguments.
Downloading apps. That's what they were doing.
Yeah, solitary
Downloading apps on nice new
That
gadgets.
they got for the holidays, exactly.
So it sounds very seasonal to me. Not that people are not playing Facebook games.
Finally, Netflix announced that they will release their first original series, Lilyhammer, next month. This is a series produced out of Norway, starring Steven Van Zandt. You might know him from The Sopranos. And he's playing
E Street Band?
a mobster, but a mobster who moves to Lilyhammer because he liked the Olympics when they were in Lilyhammer. He's like, yeah, I gotta leave
And
the country.
the joke is that he calls it Lilyhammer.
Right, and they spell it Lily,
Yeah.
even though Lilyhammer is spelled Lile.
Lilyhammer.
I think it's Lille.
Yes.
But this is
curious.
you know, it's produced in Norway, but it is a high quality production. It's going to air on television in Norway, but here in the United States and Canada and Latin America, you will be able to watch all 8 episodes starting on February 6th.
Now that is fascinating to me. At first, I thought, why would they do this? Because isn't the idea to release an episode a week and build up anticipation? And if it's a hit, then by episode 5, people are all in a frenzy. But that's not really what Netflix. That's not why people like Netflix. People like Netflix because they can watch things in bulks. I mean, I watch all sorts of TV series on Netflix, and I love it that way. Because what did they get out of stringing them out?
See, I was thinking about this originally when Netflix said they were going to do original content. I'm like, are they going to shake up exactly how they distribute? Are they going to do the week to week? But doing all at the same time, I think it's strange because you can get a free trial, you can have Netflix, and then you could watch all 8 episodes in that free trial. Now, what would keep you coming back other than the promise of future episodes? I would think that's why you come back.
The promise of
Netflix-
watching other popular shows in the
Netflix
same way
has
that you
to
just
believe-
did in bulk.
Yeah,
like
they
that.
have to believe in themselves more than thinking that someone would sign up,
Just
get through the 8
Right.
episodes, and then never come back.
I mean, the point, right, don't forget, people sign up for Netflix now, and they don't have Lilyhammer at all. So maybe the reasons that they sign up now and stay would keep them, and Lilyhammer is just an extra enticement to get them to come. And it's definitely the kind of strategy that HBO has, which is I sign up for HBO, maybe I get it for a reduced price or free for a month, and I watch a bunch of episodes of their shows. They want to keep me as a subscriber, so they keep coming out with great new series, so I'll want to stay as a subscriber. That's what Netflix is going for here, because Lilyhammer is just the first. They're also going to do House of Cards, which apparently Netflix has confirmed will debut in late 2012. You know, we actually had Dana Brunetti, who's one of the producers. I think he may be an executive producer, I'm not sure, saying that 2012 maybe into 2013, but they're saying now late 2012. Lilyhammer, I didn't believe was going to come until late 2012. It's coming on time. And then Arrested Development is supposed to come in 2013. So they're going to keep the ball rolling here with some new releases.
Well, I'm excited about Lilyhammer, and it really has nothing to do with Netflix. I think it looks cool, like a cool show. But a lot is riding on this because it's a real proof of concept for Netflix. It's not to say that they won't have original series that are going to be better down the road. But if this is a hit, then people are really going to start believing that Netflix is the place to be.
It really just reminds me of someone like a channel like HBO that does this the same exact thing. I think what they needed to do here is if they were going to try and jump into these waters, the show has to be amazing, and it actually looks really good. Yeah, and people that's kind of the benefit is Netflix is so good for just getting all you can eat on one show, and you can watch it back to back to back. If the show's good enough and pulls people in, then of course it's going to mean more subscribers.
Plus, if you sign up to do the 30-day trial, watch all 8 episodes and cancel, then when House of Cards comes out, if you want to watch that, you're going to have to pay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it actually tells a little bit about the quality of the program that they think they have. They go, look, we have all 8 right now. We don't care if you get it for free right now. You're going to keep coming back. We have our normal bread and butter, which is old content, library content, but this new stuff is strong enough that you're going to come back anyway.
All right, let's move on to the news fuse.
That wasn't too delayed.
We'll keep the matches nearby next time.
Asus Transformer Prime customers will be happy with a firmware update that's been pushed out to fix GPS issues. On January 12th, the Transformer Prime gets Android 4.0. That's ice cream sandwich. Asus also announced it's developing an unlock tool for the locked bootloader that's been upsetting people. So they caved just like HTC did. No date has been given for that yet, though.
Successful then that operation.
But at least an announcement took, what, a day?
Right?
Yeah. So
Operation,
just complain and
whatever
things will happen
that
for you.
long name was, succeeded.
Right. Yeah. According to News International, the verified Twitter account for Rupert Murdoch's wife, Wendy Deng, is a fake. Twitter told the BBC that the account was mistakenly verified for a short period of time. The account's still up on Twitter and recently posted a message saying he or she is willing to open DMs from Twitter to discuss the verification mistake.
Yeah, I saw all kinds of stories yesterday wondering whether Wendy Deng was real or not. And then at airtime for TNT, it had a verified sticker on it. So I trusted that. I don't trust that again.
Microsoft celebrating a milestone. IE6 usage in the United States has dropped below 1%, according to Net Applications on its Exploring IE blog. Microsoft even posted a picture of a cake with the HTML5 logo with the words "Goodbye IE." And that's not a joke.
That's
Roger
weird.
Capriati, director.
Goodbye IE6.
6, yes. Yeah. Director of IE marketing, asked people in the blog post to make it their New Year's resolution to end IE6. That's actually what he wrote, and move on to IE 8 or 9.
More Microsoft metrics. According to Net Applications, Windows XP is still the top operating system with 46% of the market as of December 2011. Its market share, however, decreased steadily throughout the year, and Microsoft's Windows 7 increased its market share from approximately 24% to 37%.
Look at that. It's about to cross.
So Vista never even got close to catching XP, but it looks like Windows 7 might in the next few months.
Thank goodness for that. Gameloft is facing a backlash. Here's why. It offered the Adventures of Tintin HD for Android with game screenshots that showed a 3D world to explore with intricate textures. Many people are complaining that the game they downloaded doesn't match the screenshots at all. A blog described it as a Game Boy Color 2D pixelated game. Gameloft does state that the game experience varies by phone, and the 2D game is being seen by users of Ice Cream Sandwich. Some gingerbread and honeycomb devices get the snazzy version.
So
you
that's
have the
why
latest and greatest
don't
Android.
upgrade to the new operating system.
Yeah, that's
because
why.
they're not ready for you.
Let's hope that'll get fixed soon. Saudi hackers calling themselves Group XP claim to have posted personal data of over 400,000 Israelis. Visiting a popular Israeli sports site, one.co.il, would redirect users to download a file with all that data, including names and credit card details. The redirect has since been disabled. According to the Bank of Israel, only 15,000 active credit card numbers were compromised.
Microsoft gave away free promotional codes so people could watch last Friday's UFC 141 live to show off the new app on the 360. Unfortunately, there were issues. Ben Kucher of Ars Technica reports of his personal experience saying the Xbox app did not allow him to purchase the fight at first. He had crashes, error messages, glitches. Microsoft said the issue affected 25,000 fans, and they are offering free access to a future UFC event.
Maybe it'll work.
Although
they're going to keep doing it until they get it right.
Did you like this one? We'll give you another one for free.
Light Squared has a new CFO, and his name is Mark Montanger. Headed up the 2004 Sprint Nextel merger and has 25 years of telecom experience working for companies like Skyterra, France Telecom, and Bank of America Securities.
Nintendo announced its... I'm going to say Nintendo. Nintendo announced it sold 4 million 3DS units in the U.S. over 9 months. No doubt that July price cut to $170 helped boost sales of the 3DS. Overall in the U.S., Nintendo sold over 12 million hardware units, including 4.5 million Wiis and 3.4 million DSs and its variants.
Only 4.5 million Wiis. That is a big drop for them. So the bottom just fell out of the Wii market. That's the subheading to this story as well. Let's move on to the randomizer.
Randomizer.
I love this. The Verge reporting on something called Retrode 2, a gaming...
Retrode.
Retrode? I guess so. Retrode.
Yeah, Retrode.
Duh, of course. Retrode. That's how we say it in Southern Illinois. Retrode.
There we go.
Retrode 2 is a gaming adapter that allows you to use SNES and Genesis cartridges on your computer via USB, so no more ROMs. It acts as a mountable USB drive, providing direct access to the ROM images stored on your cartridges. So you still need the emulator on your computer, but you don't need to worry about messing with ROMs and whether they work or not and whether they're illegal or not. If that bothers you, you can be totally legal. Go to the thrift store, get some cheap cartridges, or even some that you might have out in your garage. Play them right there on your computer.
At first, theoretically, I loved this idea, and then I like using my old controllers, but the old games, I remember okay, make sure the contacts are clean. Blow into the cartridge. Okay, check the actual, I guess in this case, the Retrade. Let me check this thing. Okay, is that clean? All right, try this again. Oh, it's not working.
Most of the time, the cartridges work. I mean,
but
just
these
as
are really
often
old
as
cartridges.
You download a ROM. Oh, this one's corrupt. Oh, what's wrong with this one? It's not properly coded.
Wait, so you don't like the idea because you're afraid of the possibility that there's going to be dust
I don't want to go
in
through
one
that
of the
again.
cartridges?
I mean, like
it was too
it's so
upsetting
convenient.
for you?
It's like, okay, let me pull out my CDs, and if I've ripped them all, why would I bother? That's why it's...
Oh, the CD's scratched.
It's much
why
more...
is it skipping?
Well, why
the
use
CD
a
won't be
Thankfully,
read.
I have a copy of it on...
Oh, my hard drive crashed. Oh, wait, there's a bad sector.
Oh, wait, I'm alive. Now I'm not. What? No, that's like the extreme.
The extreme is
that you can't play it because you're no longer alive.
Oh, wait, I'm dead.
It might cause my death. Of course, that's what I was afraid of. What was I thinking?
This is just, I mean, yeah, okay.
No, but it's cool.
Cartridges have their issues. Point well taken. But this is fun.
$85, shipping on January 23rd. I'm psyched about it. Works on both PC and Mac.
Absolutely cool. Let's move on to the calendar.
By the way, Light Squared CFO Mark Montagner. We might have had Montagner.
Oh, we had a typo.
Yeah, okay. It's okay. It might have been like a spell check thing.
Might have been an Iyaz thing.
No, certainly not. Microsoft's MSN Direct, the low bandwidth data service using FM radio subcarriers, you might remember, transmitted things like weather, traffic news, etc. Was shut down on schedule today. Well, back in 2009, they said they were going to shut down, and they shut down today as scheduled.
The only guy who likes Spotwatch.
The hack at Comdex in 2002, Bill Gates introduced the Smart Personal Objects Technology, SPOT, and actually, as of now, many devices no one remembers, but some Garmin navigators are still affected, and you can find out if your unit is one of those affected at Garmin's website.
Patrick Houston, former editor-in-chief of CNET, and Iyaz are very sad today.
Yeah,
that's right.
2 people.
Pour out a little liquor. Starting today, you can pre-order the BlackBerry Porsche P9981 for the low price of $1,700.
I can get a car for $1,700?
Well, it's a phone that looks just like a car.
It doesn't really look
No,
just
it
like a
doesn't.
car.
It's got
Over a 2-inch
Looks
display.
like something from the original Tron movie, if you ask me. You can put in your orders at Porsche design stores in the U.S., or you could just install the Porsche P9981 theme on your BlackBerry Bold. Get the same idea.
Won't change
for a
the
lot
keys,
less.
the physical keys, though.
Won't
Stainless
change
steel.
those. You're right, Tom.
And it won't turn you immediately into a douche. Doesn't do that. It's not a feature.
You know that douche means shower in French?
Yeah, it means shower in Russian, too. Douche.
Really?
They stole it from the French.
Now, all of you know the same. I want to say goodbye to Belarus. It was nice knowing you on the internet anyway. Belarus has passed a law, you guys, we're not kidding, that makes it a misdemeanor for citizens to browse websites hosted outside of the country of Belarus. The law goes into effect on January 6th.
Wow.
Ouch. SOPA never looked so good.
Really? It makes SOPA look perfectly reasonable. Maybe that's a plot.
Conspiracy?
Belarus, well
ISIS.
played.
Oh, it is Conspiracy Theory Tuesday, so.
All right. Speaking of conspiracy theories, some of our best conspiracy theories come from our fans. Let's check what's incoming.
Incoming message.
I don't think we have any today, though. We do have a proud Sprint Pre user, Eric, who says, as a current user of an original Sprint Pre, I appreciated the coverage on episode 406. I wholeheartedly agree with your assessment that mismanagement made the products fail. And though I wouldn't recommend WebOS to the average user, I find that my Pre still provides a better experience than the iPhones 3G and 2.4S and the iPad 2 I have in my household. The iOS apps are more numerous and more fully developed. In comparison, the WebOS platform provides much better concepts for app management, instant actions with just type, and more consistent access to preferences and settings. This often gets real-world results faster in spite of the more limited hardware. I'm happy for the open source step. The fact is the small yet dedicated open source community has already contributed substantial code and features that make my phone faster and more useful already. I hope that as WebOS becomes an open source project, some of the great concepts make it into iOS and that WebOS becomes a launcher for Android. Wow, really? That's an interesting thought. Also, no management at all is better than HP's recent support. Thank you, Eric. Good thoughts. WebOS as an Android launcher.
There were some cool things about WebOS. Like they had that contact integration that was not seen in other operating systems. I mean, like all your tweets and every other message would be in this one field. I mean, Microsoft's got a very similar thing now with their People Hub, but like that was a really cool feature of WebOS that just never made it elsewhere.
Jason, would you go for that? WebOS as a launcher?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah? I would certainly check it out and see what it's see what I think of it as another launcher. It would certainly compete with the other great launchers out there. So yes, absolutely.
All right, next email from Brandon in Victoria, Texas. Hey, TNT crew, on your previous episode, you were talking about Rime's blowout sale on the Playbook, $300. Just wanted to pass along that Sprint is selling the tablet at $99.99, $199.99 for the Wi-Fi model on its website.
I believe that's a 16 gigabyte model.
But okay,
so
it's still a much better idea to go through.
You want to buy the $300 Rime, a 64 gigabyte Playbook? I mean, does anybody? At the end of the day,
well, let's say that all models are gone except this one. Then you should go.
You still should. I don't understand that. Even though they cut the price and the price is really cheap now. What are you going to do with it?
Oh, I see.
It's like, oh, great. I got a great deal,
well,
but...
I'm just talking about getting the best deal,
yeah.
assuming that you want to buy it.
It's your premise that I have a problem with. Assuming you want a playbook. Whoa. Slow down. Slow down.
All right, that's it for this issue of our magazine that we print and publish called Tech News Today Magazine.
Our fanzine.
And those are the issues.
Available on PDF.
Don't forget to submit your issues at technewstoday.reddit.com. That's a great place to let us know what kind of stories you want us to cover on Tech News Today, not only by submitting the stories Reddit style, but voting them up or down. You're like, you know what, I don't want to hear about that anymore. Vote it down, or you see something you're really like, I want them to talk about this. Vote it up, technewstoday.reddit.com. That's it for us. You can find us on the web at twit.tv/TNT. You can... That wasn't funny.
Sorry.
Hi, Larry.
Now it is.
Get off
What's
the
wrong
stage.
with you? It's like you've spent a week moving.
That was the
and you have a
gong,
young
I think.
baby, and you're not
There
getting
we
any
go.
sleep. Sorry. Twit.tv/take it easy on Jason. He's had a hard week. Twit.tv/TNT. You can email us TNT@twit.tv or give us a call. Our phone number is 260-TNT-SHOW. Happy to see Will Harris on tomorrow's show, and we'll see you then.